Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful 23rd of April, 2021. Coming up in the Crusty Canuck podcast. Today I'll be discussing the whole Happy Earth Day and lockdowns. Oh, joy. More military blunders and more political blunders as we speak. Stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 23rd of April, 2021. And of course, yesterday was Earth Day, so we should all be singing around in harmony like the bad Coca-Cola commercial and celebrating Mother Earth at its finest. And to quote George Carlin and his infinite wisdom, the planet's fine. The people are fucked. Yes, more proof coming that way. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, listener discretion is advised. I use bad words and bad language in this podcast. This is meant for adults. Don't say I didn't warn you. And if you like and hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, and share this all around on all social media platforms. Help us independent folk get the word out there. Get the algorithm going in favor of people that just want to hear other points of view. You know what I mean? And thank you, everyone who came out to my live stream last night. I had Frank P. Vaughan on, a well-educated commentator, all-around nice guy, family man, a former PPC candidate, political junkie, and just a good guy to talk to. And I highly recommend, ladies and gentlemen, you check out his work at Frank P. Vaughan or frankvaughan.com. Got some great videos, great insight, great stories, just an all-around fucking good Canadian. And I really enjoyed our conversation that we had yesterday on the Thursday fastball. So he might be a regular in the future. We don't know. We're talking about it. But needless to say, good man. And I had a really, really great time having a good conversation with him about life, politics, and Canada as we see it. So anyway, carrying on. Happy Earth Day lockdown. Of course, you can tell my meme there. I've got a happy little planet with a silly looking face and a prime minister that wants to make sure that we hit 45% emission reduction come 2030. And of course, based on his economic environmental plan, it's going to cost us another bloody fucking fortune based on his logic and based on the federal budget that I've so affectionately talked about in my last episode. Now, let's get a few things straight here, ladies and gentlemen. You know, people have said the science is settled. Carbon tax is beneficial because it's going to stop the use of carbon, and yet carbon feeds fucking plants. Now, I don't know about you, but grade 10 science told me that carbon is a good thing for trees and fauna and everything else that grows in the wild. And it helps farmers out with their crops, and it helps people out when they have their fresh veggies. And when they go to their fancy little restaurants, they get their haute couture salads. Oh, they've got really green food. Oh, yes, of course. So why are we still worrying about carbon emissions when Canada sits maybe about 1.6% of the so-called world's emissions, right? And of course, our beloved potato puppet sock boy aficionado, Prime Minister Pert Plus, yes, sitting there constantly fucking worrying and trying to kiss ass to Joe Biden's mandate. Okay, now, I'm all for the environment. I want to keep things clean too, yes. I like going to parks. I like taking walks outside with my pets. I like taking my wife out for a walk. You know, it's nice for her and I to spend some alone time together to sit and talk about life. And we appreciate the trees and the rivers and the grass and the hills and the mountains and all that good stuff. We're all part of the planet. We all know this. But there's resources that we can tap in this country that are beneficial, not just to this company or that company, but beneficial to everyone that's living in that general area and to people that fly from like Newfoundland and the East Coast to work in the West to produce said resources. It's only been going on for the better part of fucking 60 years. So what gets me is every time they try to prove this climate mandate, it's going to cost us more in the long run. Again, they've already doubled the carbon tax. They want to increase more taxes on tobacco and things that we enjoy, right? They've already taxed home heating and home hydro, trying to save the environment, yet there's no goddamn plan in the works for anyone to be self-sufficient. And if you are self-sufficient, you have to go through tons of loopholes, and worry about this monopoly and that monopoly. So it's a fucking con. So again, We're being told again what to do with our fucking money. Now, what gets me is that they want to abolish all this carbon from the atmosphere. Okay? You know, we got to keep punishing these polluters, And I'll have descriptions in my link about this too. I'll have links in my description, links in my description about these environmental gestures. But what gets me is that these individuals try to promote the whole green, and yet they only want to take our green, our money. They want to take our currency and obliterate it, because they come up with these environmental plans to save the environment based on borrowing cash, based on how they can print all this money, just like that. And then what? No hyperinflation, no issues when it comes to buying power from the average Canadian, no issues in the long run when it comes to purchasing a home or trying to get a post-secondary education or some big investment that you and I might be looking forward to or trying to do, i.e. like our retirements, right? Setting up nest eggs for loved ones. No, because the last budget proved that will be next to impossible. Because the last budget proved that it's only going to benefit a handful of liberal believers. And of course, the NDP voted for it and Le Bloc voted for it. Now, as far as I know, at this moment, there might be a third reading to promote this budget, but they've already said yes to it twice. And that kind of drives me up the fucking wall. Honestly. Because if the Bloc likes Canadian money so goddamn much, they would actually put a stop to it. Right? But then again, my logic is this. They all want to save their fucking jobs. And if they had a snap election right goddamn now, I highly doubt they'd be successful as they are. That's just my speculation, folks. Now, I've had a few little debates with people on my Facebook page in regards to that, saying, well, if they had an election, the Liberals will win because people love comfort and safety. Exactly. People like the comfort. People are used to the comfort. People are used to the safety and the convenience. Okay? But they're not seeing the bigger picture. What's going to happen 2 or 3 years down the road when our dollar is worth nothing? And then what? Because the government's borrowed so goddamn much, they've had to fucking cut back things that we need. Right? I don't know. I just... I keep shaking my head thinking, where is the light at the end of this fucking tunnel?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Yes, Crusty Canuck here. Back to the special Earthday lockdown spectacular. Yes. And of course, in recent news too, we have seen how some police officers apprehended a 12-year-old boy based on the video evidence that was filmed by a private citizen. Some kid was literally thrown off his little scooter and carted. So I don't know what the story is with that, because like I say, numerous times, ladies and gentlemen, I know police officers personally that would not do that to a child. They'd sooner do it to a teenager, but they wouldn't do that to a child. And I don't know what the story is in that. I got a lot of respect for police officers. Like I said, I know a few, and they're great people. They're good citizens, professional men and women who do their job the best of their ability. And I'm not going to sit there and guilt an association based on the actions of a few. Okay, we've seen the results of that in Minneapolis from last year's fiasco with the George Floyd incident. And now we're going to be seeing this, and probably in Ohio, with that police officer that shot that teenage girl that threatened to kill another teenage girl with a knife. So, summarize this. I don't know. I'll leave links in the description for you guys to read and follow. Decide for yourselves. But I don't know. It's turning fucking chaotic. It seems like everybody now has the watchful eye, and rightfully so. It's good for people to film, to see any kind of injustice, to film any kind of infraction. It doesn't matter if you watch someone steal something or a police officer doing something bad, or anybody for that matter doing something bad. Good, film it and produce it. Let's get the questions going, get the dialogue going, get people out there speaking their minds. But from what I've seen of that video, and I watched it a few times now, regardless if that little kid lipped off or not, nobody has the right to throw a kid off his or her bike or scooter or knock him down with a rollerblading. That's just being nasty. And for what? For what? In the name of protection? In the name of safety? Right? If you're intimidated by a 12-year-old kid, there is something wrong with you, I would say. Right? And I know for a fact when I was 12, I respected authority. It didn't matter if it was a police officer talking to me or if my parents were talking. they told me to stop doing something, I fucking did it. But they never threw me across the floor or threw me on the ground, and asked me for my identification. Based on what I saw in that video, it's kind of hard to really really differentiate who was the good guy there. But needless to say, it didn't look good. And I guess there's an investigation into it now, but I guess some rumblings are saying that we are going to have to start carding people. And to me, that's not right, folks. That's not. If you're walking around minding your own damn business and you get a strange authority figure, doesn't matter if it's a security guard or police officer or a bylaw officer, demands your fucking identification, well, no. I say no, because, if you're not doing anything wrong, if you're just mind your business going about your way, fuck off. Really? Sorry. What do you need some ID for? Why? Am I under suspicion of something? You don't just go up to somebody and say, give me your fucking papers. Let me see your fucking ID. Who the fuck are you? Right? I don't give a fuck what law or what health law you pass or what legislation or mandate that's being promoted. You don't have the right just to randomly apprehend people. I don't give a fuck what pandemic is going on or not now. I don't care. If it's something like Red Dawn, where you're getting the enemy fucking parachuting in, and there's chaos ensuing, then okay, maybe I could see a little leniency when it comes to something, towards martial law or any kind of emergency measures act for that matter. But until that fucking day, mind your own goddamn business. Let people fucking be. And it doesn't matter if it's a 12-year-old kid playing in a park or an 82-year-old man going to the fucking store. Jesus Christ. Fuck, all this paranoia. You just can't live freely anymore. They have to contain and control. They constantly have to tell you how to walk, how to wipe your butt, when to do this, when to do that. God, it sounds like an election advert.
Join the Liberal Party of Canada. We'll tell you what to think, what to do, how to wipe, how to pick your nose, all in the name of safety.
Mama always said I had a face for radio. Join today's NDP. We'll keep moving the goalposts. You don't walk the line for us, we'll call you racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, homophobic. We look for racism in everything. Please, join the NDP today. And subscribe and donate. Please, walk our line. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I haven't done a conservative one yet, but I might later on. I don't know. Because when I look at the performance of Mr. Ford and Mr. Kenny, and some of the actions that Mr. O'Toole has promoted, it makes me think I might make a little CPC tidbit too. We'll see. That'll come in the future. But in the meantime, this is it. Happy Earth Day lockdown, everybody. Happy Earth Day lockdowns. We're saving the environment and keeping people indoors, telling them what to do, how to think, when to roll, when to puke, when to pick your nose, when to make love to your wife or your loved one, all that good stuff. Yay. Fun times. Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Here's a word from my sponsors.
In October of 2015, Lindsay Robbins, like many of her fellow Canadians, was struggling with the turmoil of mental illness. The ups and downs of what she was going through was shaping her realities, and she longed for structure. As luck would have it, that structure presented itself to her in the form of gardening. And through gardening, Lindsay had an awakening that led her to create Produce for Heroes. Lindsay realized that our veterans were going through their own mental struggles, and through her own experience, she realized the power of community. By desiring to help the way that she had been helped, she has created a program that provides relief to veterans. Her food program, which aims to provide veterans and their families relief from the stresses of food insecurity and help alleviate the cost of living for those that have sacrificed so much for their country. Whether it's through directly contacting Produce for Heroes or through a friend's referral, all veterans and their families living in Canada are welcome. By shining a light on the struggle of veterans and their families, Lindsay is hoping to get her fellow Canadians to hop on board and support Produce for Heroes and our great veterans. If you or a veteran you know needs help, ProduceForHeroes.com is a great place to start.
This is Brian Boucher, the new CEO of Canuck Gold Corp. We have gold at 99% purity with discounts ranging from $100 up to $200 off the ounce. This is the right place to buy, from 2-gram cards to 400-ounce bricks. We have any quantity of gold you are looking for. We also sell by the ton, not like your ex-wife. Visit us today at canudgold.com, CANUND gold.com.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can find links to Scott and Brian, canudgold.com. And you can also find links to Lindsay at Produce for Heroes in my description there under the heading sponsors. Anyway, carrying on. Happy Earth Day lockdown, everybody. You know, it's belated Earth Day, post-Earth Day. But to my English friends out there, 23rd of April, happy St. George's Day to my English friends. Yes, happy St. George's Day, the man who slayed the last dragon, apparently. Anyhow, to my English listeners alike, happy St. George's, all the best. Fly that Red Cross proudly. Love your football, love your pints, and love each other. All that good stuff. So happy St. George's out there to my English listeners. Anyway, carrying on. More with the Happy Earth Day down. That's right, we're doing this in the environment. We're going to be taking more and more of your money and telling you how to live your life. And when you can drive, when you can't drive, when you can poop, when you can't poop. All that good stuff. Because we're looking after Mother Earth, obviously. And like I said, like George Carlin said, nothing wrong with the planet. People are fucked. Precisely. God rest your soul, Mr. Carlin. But carrying on, just with the foolery. Now, also in recent news, too, a lady has stepped forward in regards to the sexual misconduct allegations of General Vance, Canada's premier soldier at one time, who had to step down in January, based on said allegations. Now, it's quite quinkydink, too, how all this stuff is coming out now in mainstream media. You know, all this stuff is coming to light, to fruition, per se. Oh, sorry. Option there, but still. PM responds to Major Kelly Brennan's testimony on sexual misconduct allegations. Now, I've got this recorded, but I'll just summarize it basically. It was the Liberal Party and the Bloc that basically put the kibosh to the rest of the investigations, right? And you've heard me ramble on about Mr. Harjit Sajjan's response, how it was not his responsibility, how he knew nothing. It was up to the ombudsman, but the ombudsman brought this to the minister's attention for a very valid reason. More or less saying, there's something terrible going on here. We have to fix this. Now, I'll leave links in the description. Major Kelly's, Major Brennan's testimony and what she said and all that too. And how she was treated by the general and what was really going on behind closed doors as we see. Now, I don't care who has a sexual relationship. I don't care how you go about your business. Just show up to your job, do the best you can with the best of your ability. And be as professional as you can. And I don't care if you're a private. I don't care if you're a corporal. I don't care if you're a master corporal, sergeant. I don't care if you're a lieutenant, captain, major. All other ranks, and especially if you're the top fucking guy. Brigadier general, major general, or general. I don't care. Okay? You had a responsibility. And somewhere along that line, you fucked up. And while you fucked up, you hurt some people. Okay? That's a revelation you should fucking understand. Look after. Like I said, I don't care what rank you are. I don't care what privileges you think you have. I don't give a fuck what you think you're entitled to. Okay? I really don't care. Right? You did something bad, Buckeye. Sort it the fuck out. Own it. Right? But then, you know, you were dismissed from your position. Okay? Or you stepped down from your position, whatever word salads that were being used. And then you were given an additional $50,000 for doing such a great job. So obviously, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at that procedure, okay, these men, they don't become leaders anymore. They become politicians and they toe the party line. And Justin knew what was going on. Harjit Sajjan knew what was going on. And all powers thereof within knew what the fuck was going on. And hats off those ladies that are stepping up and telling us their stories. Like I've said numerous times, ladies and gentlemen, I have worked with incredible women in the Canadian military. I have worked with and worked for some incredible women in the Canadian military. And if any of those women that I knew personally were affected by the brass committing those heinous issues and committing those heinous crimes, I'd be appalled, deeply appalled. Because there's two women I'm thinking of right now that I worked for that are exceptional human beings. Both family women, they were married, they were loyal to their husbands, and they come to work and they fucking did incredible jobs. Just incredible. One in particular listened to my concerns, especially when I was going through my PTSD issues. And she listened. She took the extra 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes to listen to what I had to say. And she did her best to make sure I got the help that I fucking needed. And it's because of women like her. You know, that sets a great example of the potential that anybody can achieve in today's military. It doesn't matter what gender you are. But then when you hear of these allegations and you hear of these situations where some junior NCOs or senior NCOs or some junior officers or, you know, senior officers getting in to positions where their bosses or their supervisors are doing some shady shit. It's time we have to act, right? But we have to act by punishing those who are guilty, not those who are associated, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Now, you could work for a guy one day and then realize this guy might be a creep. Okay, fine, but you're still working for him. But if you knew he or she is doing something illegal, then it's up to you to use your own moral code to figure out what to fucking do. Okay? If you witness someone committing a crime, well, shit. What's your moral obligation out of that? It doesn't matter if you're serving in the military or working in a goddamn bakery.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Really, it doesn't fucking matter where you're working. You see someone commit a heinous crime, harassing a female coworker or harassing a male coworker, doesn't matter what gender, because yeah, men can be sexually harassed too there, folks, right? And there's a person I know in my life who was, by the way, and I'll save that for another time, but yeah, it's there. It's a two-sided fucking coin, regardless of how you look at it. But now all this stuff is coming out of the woodwork, right? What our civilian leadership is doing with our military leadership and vice versa. Who's covering each other's backs, who's scratching here, who's giving a slap and tickle here and a little more incentive. And the proof is right there in the fucking pudding. And I'll leave links in my description for you guys to read along and decide too. But I tried watching the video that the Major did. And it's quite, I wouldn't say it's disturbing. It's hard to watch because based on my experience with the service, I can relate to her. And I can kind of feel her pain. But I want you, my listeners, to watch it for yourselves and decide. You know, it's just holy fuck, just horrendous. Just, it's disturbing because when you look up to senior leadership in any job, it doesn't matter if it's the military, police forces, fire services, ambulatory services, you try to embrace that mentorship to the best of your ability. And we're all guilty of hanging on to these people's every fucking word. Because when you look at the experience they have and you look at the dedication, the time and effort they have put into their job to either become an NCO or to become an officer, you want to believe everything they say because they're presenting something to you. They're showing you. They are giving you that example of how to be better at PT, how to be better at navigation, how to be better at a good shot, how to be a better reconnaissance individual, how to be a better, well, how to be a better soldier altogether. And then when you find this shit out, when you look at what some of these people have done or what they're being accused of, everything you have believed in about said lieutenant or said captain or said major or general or lieutenant colonel, it doesn't matter. All of a sudden, things change. And wow, your perspective's different. It is. And I know a lot of guys back in my home unit who would back up Vance till the cows came home. But with these allegations that are continuing to surface, I can see how difficult it's going to be. I never met the man. I never met him personally. I met Rick Hillier back in Afghanistan. Nice guy. Personable, friendly. I read part of his book. I read one of his books on leadership. I gotta read it again, though. A little rusty when it comes to old military history, but so I'm still working on that. But still, I got to read it again and get it on the go. But needless to say, I'm shocked, really, for my 20 years of service and working with some great people and actually following and believing in some of my leaders. This takes it to a new level, folks. And if there's anyone listening to this podcast right now, if there's any women in the service right now listening to this podcast, don't be afraid to reach out to me. You don't have to use your real name. Don't have to use your real identity. Just fine. Just give me some facts and figures and give me some points. And let me help you. Okay? Let me help you. Because I still know some people in my circle. And if you want to get your story out and if you have something to say, please do not hesitate to give me an email. crustybcanuck67@gmail.com. You can find all my information in my description and my videos and my podcasts. So please don't hesitate, ladies. And men too. If you feel that you're being harassed, and I'm talking not just idle chit-chat and name-calling. I'm talking if you feel that you're being harassed and you want someone to talk to about it, by all means, let me know. Reach out to me. And I'll do what I can for you, okay? That's a fucking promise. So don't hesitate. My door is open, or my cyber door is open, per se. So please, come on in. Let me fucking know what your problem is, and we can find a viable solution to do something about it, right? Anyway, moving on again, too, with the whole Earthday lockdowns, right? They're still promoting the whole fucking checking your papers at the border thing, trying to validate who you are and why you're coming here and what's going on. Again, all in the name of the fucking safety. And my logic is this: you're not being safe. You're being totalitarian yet again. Now, I've had some more people weigh into my Facebook pages telling me how the budget's a good thing and, oh, Crusty Canuck, you're nothing but a fucking armchair politician and you think you know this and you think you know that. And it's like, well, based on my 20 years of service and working with some great people and seeing leadership at its lowest and seeing leadership at its finest, I think I have something to say when it comes to strange people spending our money and spending us into oblivion and then turning around, creating more fucking taxes in the name of a virtue that's really not going to fucking hurt us in the long run. So, yeah, I think I'm fucking qualified to discuss it and throw my hat in the ring in the political spectrum, right? Because I believe in looking after your constituents. Not looking after your party, but looking after your constituents. So I think I'm fucking qualified there, Buckeyes, right? But like I say, I encourage people to weigh in on what I say and what I do. And you want to encourage debate? Encourage debate. By all means, debate me all you want to. I'm there for that. That's why I do this, because I like to get the dialogue going, conversations going. But if you're going to sit there and assume things based on a meme or based on a thumbnail, then you're wasting my fucking time. And you're wasting your own.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Anyway, carrying on. We're at the point of the show, too. Last episode, I did not have a polar vortex of bullshit recipient, but this week I do, or this day I do. So, after plenty of consideration, based on what I've seen the past couple of days in news reports and what have you, based on, well, just the social spectrum and where it's going, the Polar Vortex of Bullshit Award will go to, wait for it, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
The Canadian Polar Vortex of Bullshit
goes to our beloved Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for his lackluster performance when it comes to cutting more emissions, his part in the budget, not really explaining how it's going to work, and just carrying on with the whole virtue BS. So congratulations, Prime Minister. You have just won yourself the
Canadian Polar Vortex of Bullshit.
Well done, sir. Well done, wanker. Anyway, carrying on again, too, with more of the Happy Earth Day lockdown. Now, when it comes to looking after Mother Earth, we all do simple things. We all look after things. We're not going to intentionally throw our garbage on the side of the road. We're not going to drop our drawers and take a dump on the highway. Mind you, I've seen that a couple of times. It's quite interesting, but still. Maybe some other time I'll tell you that story. But we all have common sense here when it comes to looking after what's clean or keeping things clean. We all have common sense when it comes to knowing what to do with our trash. But I'm not seeing any incentives out there, okay? And we had this talk on the fastball there yesterday when I was sitting with Frank. And where's the incentives? Where's the incentives for, let's say, a local farmer or someone in the suburban surrounding to generate their own electricity? Where's the incentive to recycle things, to create your own power? Right? I've said this before a few times. Hemp. Look at the power of hemp. Look what you can do with the hemp product, right? You can grow proteins. Hemp protein is excellent protein, right? You can make fibers for clothing. You can make bricks. What the hell's a brints? You can make bricks from hemp. It can also make a valuable fuel. It can help create good biodiesel, right? And it's one of those things that pays for itself later on down the road, right? So if you own a piece of land, let's say you have about 10 or 20 acres, and you can plant 10 acres of hemp, you're onto something. But we don't do that because every municipality and provincial government has a monopoly on the grid, right? And if you take yourself off the grid, you get punished. And if you use the benefits of the grid without paying, you get punished. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Well, let's change that mandate, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Let's change that fucking mandate. Right? I'm thinking of ways to get money back into people's pockets again so people can pay their bills and turn on the lights without feeling guilty, or fill up their tanks without feeling guilty, cutting their grass without feeling guilty. I want people to go about their lives and their businesses without doing the old Mel Koopa thing, beating themselves with the fucking olive branch because there's some aficionado who might have a degree in something other than humility telling them what to fucking do. Right? So let's promote self-sufficiency. Okay? Let's start creating our own monopolies and helping ourselves out again. Right? The past couple of days, I have been looking at ways to generate power from car batteries. You know, I know you need a standard 24 volts as a base to do that, right? But is there ways that I can use wind to generate electricity in my house? Is there ways I can use a treadmill? I know there's schematics out there. I just got to look for them. But that's up me. That's on to me. And I encourage you, my listeners out there, think of the ways to do it. You know, if you got a running stream near your place, and you, let's say, put a little fan in there, perhaps, you know, some kind of way of generating your own hydroelectricity by using the power of the current to generate power to your home. Innovations are endless out there to help yourself. And I think we should start doing that more instead of relying on the government's teat. Now, the way things are going right now in Ottawa, like I said, they okayed the second reading of the budget. Of course, they block, and the NDP is all behind it because they want to hold on to their jobs for dear life, right? To maintain whatever little power they have left. Because we know the NDP doesn't have a pot to piss in. And I know for a fact every time the Bloc gets voted in, they're either up or down, on the bus, off the bus. It doesn't really fucking matter. It's basically just holding whatever seat they have and making that cool $183,000 a year on the backs of the Canadian taxpayer, right? We can all agree that that budget was not a budget. It was just an excuse to spend more goddamn money, right? And really the only people that are going to benefit from said budget that was read and tabled are the handful of people that have supported the Liberal mandates in regards to stopping production of oil and gas, stopping our natural resources, screwing Canadian farmers. And that's just all Canadian farmers, ladies and gentlemen. That's just not out here in the West. That's dairy farmers in Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick and Nova Scotia alike, too. So, something to ponder. But I don't know. It's up to you.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Anyway, carrying on, ladies and gentlemen, the last bit of this show. Sunday Fastball is coming up too, so please join myself, Adam Daniel Mezei, and other panel guests for a weekly panel where we talk about social, political, and just other issues that affect us Canucks every day. We do a weekly show. We just sit and chew the fat. But everything that's on our minds and about other solutions and how we can fix certain problems and dissect some of the buffoonery that's representing us in government today. So please tune in, 4 o'clock every Sunday, Mountain Standard Time. We stream live on Facebook and YouTube. Go live, so please ask us anything you want to know. We don't care what kind of bomb you drop. You can drop an F-bomb, a C-bomb. We don't mind. Just no racial bigotry and no blatant sexism, too. That just gets redundant after a while. And we don't tolerate it. So keep that in mind, folks. And please check out my shop, customizedgirl.com. Crusty Canuck. I'll leave links in the description. I have some new swagger up there, new T-shirts. I've got shorts. I got swimsuits for the ladies. I got mugs. I got caps. I got buttons. Lots of Crusty Canuck paraphernalia from you to choose from. Plus, the weather's getting better outside, so start thinking about summer. I got some nice baseball shirts in there, too, Raglan-style softball shirts, so please check it out. CustomizedGirl.com, Crusty Canuck. And if you do like and hear what you see, please do not forget to share this around. Click like and subscribe. And give me a thumbs up or 2 or 3 or 4. Whatever you like to do, please. Let's get this independent podcast out there to the masses. And to my viewers and listeners alike, thank you very much for your undying support the past couple of months. It's been fantastic. I'm seeing more people subscribing and liking and sending me wonderful comments. So please keep doing that and do your part. Keep sharing this stuff. Help us independent folk get the word out there. And I'm going to be looking at some other platforms eventually. It's just time permits. Just getting everything organized and all the technical stuff sorted out. But yeah, I'm working on that too. But in the meantime, keep sharing this stuff all over the place if you can too. And please consider joining me on the TechCast, or the Supercast. Links in the description for that too. For $5 a month, you get all of my content via podcast, censorship free. So there won't be any blurps or blips that forbid you from hearing my words. Join Supercast and you get the Crusty Canuck podcast for just $5 a month. I'm doing about 2 episodes now a week. So really, for $5 a month, you get roughly 8 episodes. I think that's a pretty good deal. Plus, it helps me out, and I like to make this a full-time commitment. So it's up to you, my listeners and fans alike, to help me make that happen. So please consider joining me on Supercast and do what you can to contribute. Anyway, carrying on again with more Earthday lockdown stuff. Yes. It just seems like every other day there's always something new, eh? There's always something new in the mainstream media telling us what to think, what to do, what's fair, what's not fair, right? And with all this violence going on in the United States, especially with the so-called racial inequity, now, Mr. Chauvin committed a crime. As far as I'm concerned, he committed a crime. He was guilty. Okay? What he did, I think, was really out of the fucking line. It wasn't right for Mr. Floyd to die the way he did. It wasn't, regardless of his criminal background or not. Okay? It wasn't right for that teenage girl to die. But in the same sense, that teenage girl in Ohio pulled a knife on somebody and had the intent on doing something heinous. Okay? Had the intent. Now, I've been in situations before where people have pulled weapons off. Now, mind you, that was a theater of operations. That's a different story, but not entirely a different story either, too. You're taught to react promptly and safely to the best of your ability. Now, maybe that cop might have been in line for pumping 4 rounds, but needless to say, he reacted to a dangerous situation to save another life. And that's the risk you got to take, and it doesn't matter what side of the border you're on, folks. There are a lot of Canadian police officers who had to do the same thing, right? I don't have an example handy, but I'm sure there's plenty out there to choose from, right? And I'm getting tired of the race baiters, too. It's like, really, it's a racist thing. It's a racist thing. It's like, here's a cop who happens to be white. Not that it matters. And here's 2 teenage girls who happen to be black. Not that it matters either, too. One had a knife, and she had intent on fucking some girl up. Really bad. Now, this cop reacted. What's the problem? Right? It's sad that people have to die. Yeah, I agree. And I'm not justifying anyone's death, but that's the price you got to pay. You know? And and just because I'm Canadian, just because I live in the North, that doesn't mean I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I've witnessed situations like that before. And it's pretty fucking scary. And it gets complicated. But like I said, the proof's in the pudding, folks. There's the truth for you right there and there. And, you know, yeah, we can sit and analyze how we got to do better here and do better there with police training. But then again, that's also in the United States too. And that's up to the state of Ohio. And that's up to that jurisdiction to sort out. But if we're constantly going to put police officers in this position, you know, and constantly say, oh, let's abolish the police and all these lives matter. Well, every life matters too. Okay? Every life matters. And it's to me, it's not an oppression game. It's fucking malarkey. You know? What was possessing that teenage girl with a knife to do what she wanted to do? Or what she was planning to do, what she intended to do? What was possessing her to do that? What kind of situation was she in that gave her the logic, well, I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to cut somebody? Like, what was it? Was it a school tuffle? Did someone steal something from her? Did someone steal her boyfriend or girlfriend? I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of stories out there and speculation to back it up, but I don't know. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to dwell on it. It's an American issue. To my American listeners out there, I don't know. You guys tell me. You know where to reach me. But needless to say, you know, from what I've seen, what I've read, it just seems, fuck, here we go again. Right? And I'm not dismissing anyone dying in police custody or in any kind of situation with the police, but we've got to look at these both sides very carefully and with the utmost scrutiny too, more so now. Because, you know, I'm so tired of the race baiting BS. You always put race to it. Oh, it's a racist issue. And I said, no, it's not a racist issue. I think that cop acted accordingly. Maybe overkill with 4 rounds, but in the same sense, okay, what was his best decision? What was his logic at the time? What was he thinking in his mind? You know, what was going on? Well, save a life to take a life? That happens. That happens, folks. But I'm not going to dress up a shit sandwich and call it a submarine. It is what it is. Anyway, carrying on again with more of the whole Happy Earthday lockdown. Once again to my English friends, happy St. George's Day. And happy Friday, Red Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday too. So remember those guys and gals deployed. It doesn't matter if you're in the Canadian forces, American forces, British forces, to all our allies. Ooh-ah. Remember those deployed. You know, or your little red pin or your country's flag, whatever. Just remember there are men and women out there fighting for the good fight somewhere. We'll do what we can. But in conclusion of this show, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to do better when it comes to picking these leaders. You know, and I was invited to a freedom rally there in Calgary next Saturday. So I'm going to probably confirm my appearance there too. So if you're in Calgary next Saturday, you might see yours truly, Crusty Canuck, there speaking. So tune into that if you can too. I don't care if you record me. I don't care if you tape me or film me. That's fine. That's fine. Just getting it in the public. You know, I actually got a few bucks I can afford to drive down there right now. So, which is good. I budgeted, so I might make an appearance there too. I just got to reconfirm with the invitee and just let them know that I'm interested and I'll do it. And we'll go from there. So next Saturday, I believe it is. Check my calendar here. Yeah, the 1st, ironically enough. So the 1st of May, as far as I know, there's going to be another freedom rally in Calgary. So I might make an appearance there, speak a few words of wisdom, maybe help my pseudo campaign out for the VCP party. But I'll definitely give that a shot for you, ladies and gentlemen. Get the words out there too. I can only do so much behind the microphone. I have to get it in the public. Let people know who I am and what I stand for and what's got to be done. And it comes down to freedom, freedom of choice, freedom to do, freedom to be, freedom to just let people thrive. And that's the thing. We all got to thrive, ladies and gentlemen. You know, there is light in the end of the tunnel. There is. We just got to keep fighting for it and keep finding it. Anyway, like I say, I'll just remind you too, tune in this Sunday for the Sunday Fastball with myself and Adam Daniel Mezei. And a big shout out there to Gabriel Scheer for his words of wisdom. And before I go, I just want to remind some individuals too that it's not racist to speak your mind. Okay, based on an email I just received not even an hour ago. Someone called me a bigot, but I just want to tell these people, not racist to speak your mind, folks. So lay off the fear. Start promoting common sense, right? Let's get back to our grassroots blue-collar know-how. Start treating people like people again. Let's not worry about what color or gender they identify. And let's not tiptoe around anymore in eggshells. Start telling it like it is. Start being real. And you can still be kind and considerate while you're doing that. Anyway, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 23rd of April. It's Friday, so remember, it's Red Friday. Remember, those deployed. Check out my subscription and donation pages. Please consider donating, all that good stuff. Help me make this a full-time commitment, because I really enjoy this. And I like speak my mind to all you and my fans out there. So please consider donating today. And let's do what we can to help each other out. Remember, look after your friends and loved ones. And remember, folks, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you Sunday. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worth.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane, and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.